and therefore took advantage of a moment when Nozdrev had again plunged into conversation and was yet a third time engaged in refilling his brother-in-law's glass, to contrive to upset his, Chichikov's, glass over his plate. In time there came also to table a tart of mountain ash berries, berries which the host declared to equal in taste ripe plums, but which, curiously enough, smacked more of corn brandy. Next, the company consumed a sort of pasty, of which the precise name has escaped me, but which the host rendered differently even on the second occasion of its being mentioned. The meal over, and the whole tale of wines tried, the guests still retained their seats, a circumstance which embarrassed Chichikov, seeing that he had no mind to propound his pet scheme in the presence of Nozdrev's brother-in-law, who was a complete stranger to him. No, that subject called for amicable and private conversation. Nevertheless, the brother-in-law appeared to bode little danger, seeing that he had taken on board a full cargo, and was now engaged in doing nothing of a more menacing nature than picking his nose. At length he himself noticed that he was not altogether in a responsible condition, wherefore he rose and began to make excuses for departing homewards, though in a tone so drowsy and lethargic that, to quote the Russian proverb, he might also have been pulling a collar onto a horse by the clasps. "No, no," cried Nozdrev, "I am not going to let you go." "But I must go," replied the brother-in-law. "Don't try to hinder me. You are annoying me greatly." "Rubbish! We are going to play a game of banker." "No, no, you must play it without me, my friend. My wife is expecting me at home, and I must go and tell her all about the fair. Yes, I must go if I am to please her. Do not try to detain me." "Your wife be— But have you really an important piece of business with her?" "No, no, my friend. The real reason is that she is a good and trustful woman, and that she does a great deal for me. The tears spring to my eyes as I think of it. Do not detain me. As an honorable man, I say that I must go. Of that I do assure you in all sincerity." "Oh, let him go," put in Chichikov under his breath. "What use will he be here?" "Very well," said Nozdrev, "though, damn it, I do not like fellows who lose their heads." Then he added to his brother-in-law, "All right, Thetic. Footnote 3. Off you go to your wife and your woman's talk, and may the devil go with you." Footnote 3. A jeering appellation which owes its origin to the fact that certain Russians cherish a prejudice against the initial character of the word, namely, the Greek letter theta, or th. "Do not insult me with the term Thetic," retorted the brother-in-law. "To her I owe my life, and she is a dear, good woman, and has shown me much affection. At the very thought of it I could weep. You see, she will be asking me what I have seen at the fair, and tell her about it I must, for she is such a dear, good woman." "Then off you go to her with your pack of lies. Here's your cap." "No, good friend, you are not to speak of her like that. By so doing you offend me greatly. I say that she is a dear, good woman." "Then run along home to her." "Yes, I am just going. Excuse me for having been unable to stay. Gladly would I have stayed, but really I cannot." The brother-in-law repeated his excuses again and again, without noticing that he had entered the britchka, that it had passed through the gates, and that he was now in the open country. Permissibly we may suppose that his wife succeeded in gleaning from him few details of the fair. "What a fool!" said Nozdrev as, standing by the window, he watched the departing vehicle. "Yet his off-horse is not such a bad one. For a long time past I have been wanting to get hold of it. A man like that is simply impossible. Yes, he is a Thetic, a regular Thetic." With that they repaired to the parlor, where, on Porphyry bringing candles, Chichikov perceived that his host had produced a pack of cards. "I tell you what," said Nozdrev, pressing the sides of the pack together and then slightly bending them so that the pack cracked and a few cards flew out. "How would it be if, to pass the time, I were to make a bank of 300? Chichikov pretended not to have heard him, but remarked with an air of having just recollected a forgotten point, "By the way, I had omitted to say that I have a request to make of you." "What request?" "First, give me your word that you will grant it." "What is the request, I say?" "Then you give me your word, do you?" "Certainly." "Your word of honor?" "My word of honor." "This, then, is my request. I presume that you have a large number of dead serfs whose names have not yet been removed from the revision list." "I have. But why do you ask?" "Because I want you to make them over to me." "Of what use would they be to you?" "Never mind. I have a purpose in wanting them." "What purpose?" "A purpose which is strictly my own affair. In short, I need them." "You seem to have hatched a very fine scheme. Out with it now. What is in the wind?" "How could I have hatched such a scheme as you say? One could not very well hatch a scheme out of such a trifle as this." "Then for what purpose do you want the serfs?" Oh, the curiosity of the man! He wants to poke his fingers into and smell over every detail. "Why do you decline to say what is in your mind? At all events, until you do say, I shall not move in the matter." "But how would it benefit you to know what my plans are?" "A whim has seized me, that is all. Nor are you playing fair. You have given me your word of honor, yet now you are trying to back out of it." "No matter what you desire me to do, I decline to do it until you have told me your purpose." "What am I to say to the fellow?" thought Chichikov. He reflected for a moment, and then explained that he wanted the dead souls in order to acquire a better standing in society, since at present he possessed little landed property and only a handful of serfs. "You are lying," said Nozdrev, without even letting him finish. "Yes, you are lying, my good friend." Chichikov himself perceived that his device had been a clumsy one, and his pretext weak. "I must tell him straight out," he said to himself, as he pulled his wits together. "Should I tell you the truth," he added aloud, "I must beg of you not to repeat it. The truth is that I'm thinking of getting married, but unfortunately my betrothed's father and mother are very ambitious people and do not want me to marry her, since they desire the bridegroom to own not less than 300 souls, whereas I own but 150, and that number is not sufficient." "Again you are lying," said Nozdrev. "Then look here, I have been lying only to this extent," and Chichikov marked off upon his little finger a minute portion. "Nevertheless, I will bet my head that you have been lying throughout." "Come, come, that is not very civil of you. Why should I have been lying?" "Because I know you, and know that you are a regular skinflint. I say that in all friendship. If I possessed any power over you, I should hang you to the nearest tree." This remark hurt Chichikov, for at any time he disliked expressions gross or offensive to decency, and never allowed anyone, no, not even persons of the highest rank, to behave towards him with an undue measure of familiarity. Consequently, his sense of umbrage on the present occasion was unbounded. "By God, I would hang you," repeated Nozdrev. "I say this frankly, and not for the purpose of offending you, but simply to communicate to you my friendly opinion." "To everything there are limits," retorted Chichikov stiffly. "If you want to indulge in speeches of that sort, you had better return to the barracks." However, after a pause, he added, "If you do not care to give me the serfs, why not sell them?" "Sell them? I know you, you rascal. You wouldn't give me very much for them, would you?" "A nice fellow! Look here, what are they to you? So many diamonds, eh?" "I thought so. I know you." "Pardon me, but I could wish that you were a member of the Jewish persuasion. You would give them to me fast enough then." "On the contrary, to show you that I am not a usurer, I will decline to ask of you a single kopeck for the serfs. All that you need to do is buy that colt of mine, and then I will throw in the serfs in addition." "But what should I want with your colt?" said Chichikov, genuinely astonished at the proposal. "What should you want with him? Why, I have bought him for 10,000 roubles, and am ready to let you have him for 4. I ask you again, of what use could the colt possibly be to me? I am not the keeper of a breeding establishment. Ah, I see that you fail to understand me. let me suggest that you pay down at once 3,000